Happy Saturday, everyone. I hope that you are doing absolutely phenomenally this morning. Listening to a little sounds of jazz this morning, jazz guitar. It is Saturday, and as you can see, I am outside this morning on my front porch, looking out into nature. I want you to come on in. I want you to invite some other people apart. Good morning to all of you as you get ready to join in this morning. I am Keisha Sharp Jefferson. Keisha Sharp Jefferson. I am a life change strategist, and not only a life change strategist, I am a realtor as well. Realtor with Keller Williams Vestavia. And I want to welcome you as this part of this Saturday morning. There we go. I see glasses and I see that you all are coming on this morning. So come on. I want those of you who have joined already to go ahead and share out the broadcast. You can see I'm standing out. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I thought I'd take full advantage of this right now. So I want to say good morning to you. I want to say share out the broadcast. And quickly, we have our guest standing by. So quickly, I want to tell you why I'm even coming on this morning to share this information with you. Well, many of you know that I come on and I share these live broadcasts. And part of the reason that I do it as a life coach is to put valuable information in your hands. When I purchased my first home more than 20 years ago, I didn't have an opportunity. In fact, it was 2002 when I purchased my first home. I didn't have an opportunity, to be real frank with you, to understand the process of buying a home. And my realtor at the time, I loved her personally, but she didn't give me the information that I thought I should have had related to purchasing my home. So as a coach, coaches enjoy giving you strategy. Coaches enjoy giving you step-by-step processes. Coaches enjoy making sure that you have the information that you need to prosper. So this morning, I wanted to bring on one of my, I would say a new friend. You know, we haven't known each other very long, but and I'm outside, so you're going to hear some cars pass by, but it's part of it. You know, it's live TV. So anyway, I wanted to bring one of my new friends and colleagues and comrades along. Okay. Yeah, I see y'all are coming on in. Good morning, everybody. And I wanted to bring him on to talk about the purpose and the value of a home inspection. Listen, this is what happened to me. I hosted an open house about a week ago. Okay. And also before that, I'd gone out with a couple of clients who talked about, and they were bidding on a home. And what I'm seeing, y'all, is that some people are actually considering not, let me be careful when I say this, but this is a true story. Some people are considering not getting the home inspection because why? Because the market has been so competitive. The market has been so hot. Sellers have reigned. I mean, let's just go ahead and put it out there. If you were selling a home, you would receive several offers, people bidding for offers. Good morning. I want to say good morning to you. I see you coming on in. I'm just talking about why we're doing this interview this morning. But there are people who are considering not getting a home inspection. That makes me a little bit nervous because for all of my homeowners out there, you know, and as you're getting ready to purchase a home, there are things that you can get into that cost you a pretty sum of money if you don't check it out beforehand. But I don't want you to take my word. I'm not going to spend any more time talking about this. I'm going to bring the expert on, okay? I'm going to bring our local expert on. His name is Mr. Derrick Gooden. Mr. Gooden of Gooden Inspection Services. How are you today?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, first of all, you know the story. I've shared this with you. Seller's market, very competitive out there for home buyers. Right. So in order for some of these home buyers to get the home of their dreams, they're saying, we just won't get an inspection. We'll go ahead and we'll just purchase, we'll bid on the home, we'll put the contract on the home, and whatever comes up with the home later, we'll just deal with it. That makes me cringe. And here's the deal. It's all about personal choice. So I would never tell anyone, you know, what you can't do. That's not my job. Right. But I would give them from a perspective of wisdom. If you want to know the truth, if you want to know, give me permission to tell you the truth about it. I don't believe it's the wisest decision in the long run. So what do you say as an inspector, as one who performs inspections, what would you say about the wisdom of not getting a home inspection when purchasing a home?
Well, first of all, good morning, Kisa, and to your audience as well. And to your question about foregoing, because you hear that a lot, in this competitive market, a lot of times people are willing to forego the inspection contingency, when in fact, and I'm biased because I do inspections, but I
Sure.
view the inspection as one of the most like important uh, aspects of the house because it details where the problems are. What you don't want to do is spend $250,000 on a house uh, and get in that house and have a $25,000 foundation problem or
Yeah.
uh, have to replace the HVAC. All of this could have been caught on the front end by performing an inspection. So it's very important that people get an inspection, get a chance to understand or get an education about the home they're about to purchase. Because let's be honest, like as buyers, myself included, I just recently purchased a home.
Yeah.
Um, there's the excitement that goes with it, and if you want that house, you want the house. But you have to do your due diligence. That's why that period is there,
Yeah.
and you want to know what's going on with the house, the condition of the house.
No, that's wisdom. I wanted to say good morning, y'all. This is Mr. Derrick Gooden of Gooden Inspection Services. I
Good
saw
morning.
Samantha Youngblood on. Hey, Samantha, good morning to you. And Samantha, we're asking everybody to share out the broadcast this morning because, and I know some people will come on a little bit later because this to me is just valuable information, and I can only give you a perspective, and not only as a realtor but also as a homeowner and some of the things that I've seen, and I would prefer to tell you the truth because one of the things that concerns me and has concerned me in the past, and I've said this, I'm on a mission to how can I say it, to destroy ignorance, to destroy bad decision making, because I believe an informed homeowner is a wise homeowner and is a happy homeowner, most importantly. So we're hearing from Mr. Gooden this morning. And again, as those of you who are coming on this morning, I thank you for sharing out the broadcast, some valuable information, and ask your questions. Ask questions if you have questions. So, Derrick, I'll go ahead and get right into it.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about your process because people may not always even understand. I mean, I can't assume everybody understands. And look, Samantha's saying, "Hey, I shared on Facebook and in Messenger. You go, girl." You rock. We received that.
Mhm.
But people may not always understand, because I can't assume that I'm talking to older, mature, people as well, or people who even fully understand the process of purchasing a home. So I'll let you talk about your process, and I'm going to put this information on the screen in case you want to call him as well. But talk about your process. Talk about what goes into home inspections and what that looks like.
Yes. So my process, actually, I always like to start when I talk to people. I like to summarize the home inspection up into a few different parts. So I like to show the who, what, when, where, and that should tell you why you need a home inspection.
Mhm.
Right. So who should perform a home inspection? As as mentioned, my name is Derrick Gooden. I'm a licensed home inspector. All right. Alabama is a licensed state, which means that uh, there's a certain amount of criteria needed before you can actually perform a compensated home inspection. So before I was ever paid for an inspection,
Mhm.
I'd done 35 inspections under a supervisor.
Wow.
Uh, so my first one, the readiness was there. I also have to carry at least $250,000 worth of insurance by the state in order to be licensed within the state. And there's also a national exam. This is an accredited trade, so uh, the awareness has to be there for anyone that aspires to be a home inspector. I bring all of this up because not just anyone can inspect your house. I tell my people all the time that everybody, uh, you have that uncle that know how to fix on cars real good.
I knew you were going to say that, Derrick. I knew you were going to say that.
Don't let him get in your attic because he doesn't know what to look for. He doesn't know that the metal flues going out to the exterior, or he's not looking for that. Whereas a trained professional like myself, I'm looking for any type of damage in the attic. I'm looking for sheathing damage. I'm looking to make sure that if there's gas appliances in your house, that the metal flues go outside. I'm looking at ventilation. I'm looking at a few electrical. I'm looking at a few things, and that's all credited to my training. So that's who. Also around the who, I often, when I have an inspection, I often urge the buyer to be there. All right, and the reason I do that is because when the buyer is present, it increases the transparency for me. So you don't just see, you see on a report, because at the end of the inspection, I provide a report that details all of my findings. But I find it more impactful for the buyer to be there. So if I see a default or anything that's safety related, I can show them in real time. They know what it is. So when they see the report, it's not a surprise. So that also helps me. Yeah, that also helps me as far as questions. They get a chance to ask me questions about it as well. So that's the who. All right. So what is a home inspection? Let's talk about what that is. So by definition, a home inspection is an objective and visual observation of the home at a specific time. All right. Two words in particular that I use: objective and visual. All right. Objective meaning it's non-biased. So I don't work for the agent. I work specifically for the buyer. And my goal is to protect the buyer's best interest before they purchase a home. So I'm going to find things. I'm going to find, and I'm going to call those things out in the report, because it's important for you as the buyer. A few different reasons. Important is for you as the buyer to be aware of what's going on in your house, and if there's any conditions, you need to know. Yeah, you need to know that that's going on in your house, because I mean, in this market, not so much, but oftentimes if there's let's say an age HVAC or an age roof, you could use that as leverage when it comes to the real estate process. So hey, maybe reducing the price, or maybe giving an allowance, or
okay. Let's go. Let's work with that just for a second. I love what you just said, because what you're doing there, you're saying, I'm giving you information in this inspection report that I give you, and I don't just come and I give you a visual and that's it, and you write it down. I give you a report, I print it out, and then you said the buyer, you work for the buyer. You gave a couple of nuggets. You work for the buyer. So buyer, when you hire him, he works for you, not the real estate agent, not anyone else. He works for you. Wait a minute. He works for the person who purchases his services, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So if you're buying the home, he's going to go in that home and give you a detailed report, because he's working for you. Then you said leverage. So what you find, you can use it as a negotiating skill. So they're not throwing away money. It's really an investment, right?
Right. Yeah. And I try to, and in my job, like I always try to find my worth in there, because generally my prices are based on the square footage. So on average, about $400 for an inspection.
Okay.
I need to find, whether it's the roof, whether it's and the 5 areas that I emphasize, and I'll share my process as we get a little bit further down. But the 5 areas that I emphasize, always going to be roof. It's always going to be electrical. It's always going to be plumbing. It's always going to be HVAC, and it's always going to be foundation. Like those areas, I stick a pin in.
Yeah.
Those are my priority areas. I mean, everything within the house is important, but those are my priority areas. Those are the things that I'm looking at, and just kind of backing up to the what. Again, objective. I work in the interest of the buyer, and visual. Now, visual is the mandatory minimum for an inspector, like just going around visualizing, seeing what's going on in the room. Myself, I'm a tools guy. I like tools because tools allow me to better articulate what's going on in the house. So if instead of me telling you, let's say for instance, the seller isn't, I'm sorry, the buyer isn't there.
Yeah.
Instead of me telling you that the air conditioner was functional at the time of the inspection, I can actually show you with my infrared gun that the thermostat was functional.
Love it.
Love it. When it comes to like high pitched roofs, certain roofs, I can get the same coverage with my drone as I would walking up. Now I may put the ladder up against it just to get an edge, but as far as walking the roof, I often use my drone to cover those penetrations, to look at any shingle deterioration, any shingle damage. I actually get a better quality. I found a better quality picture with my with using my drone. So I like, I like using technology to help tell the story. If there's moisture, this drywall, I can't see behind this drywall.
Yeah.
I have an infrared meter. If there were moisture present in this drywall, I'd be able to see that readily. And those are things that that I use throughout my inspection to not only add value to my clients, but just to provide that awareness of what's going on. Because what we know is that, all right, if the house is already built, I can't see behind here. Yeah. But if there's evidence of a leak or active moisture or anything that any sign of moisture, you'll be aware because my tools will indicate that. So.
And let me, oh, this is so good. I love the fact that you use tools. I love that. What you're saying is I've moved and I guess I'll say goodbye to my husband wherever he's gone this morning. But what you're saying is you're not just going in and relying on, for lack of a better word, just relying on yourself. You're bringing some tools of the trade that will help you. Sure. And you talked about the moisture. Listen, Derrick, we looked and strongly considered purchasing an older home. I think I shared this with you. The home was probably close to 100 years old. And that's one of the things that as that home is older, that was one of the things that we were going to have to go in. And I hired another inspector. I didn't know you back in the day. Okay. So to be able to use your tools. So we didn't know you back in the day, but that was one of the things that we discovered, that if we purchased that home, that we were going to have to go in and do some foundation work. So whereas this home appeared to be a great price on the front end, we were looking at, thanks to an inspection, we knew that we were going to have to pay or invest nearly $30,000 after we purchased that home due to some foundation issues and some moisture issues, number one. And number two, Derrick, you may not be able to comment much on this, but the reason that made me nervous is because when you talk about the things like mold and you talk about moisture, those sorts of things. I mean, really, my brother is in the pest control industry. And so I talked to him and a couple of other folks, and they gave me a fair amount of caution about that because of the danger that mold can present, some of the health issues.
Right.
So, so in other words, this is not just a good suggestion, ladies and gentlemen. This could be something Derrick mentioned earlier, which I thought was amazing. The fact that you can use this as leverage. Okay. This can mean money in your pocket. So yeah, you'll pay, a couple $100, but let's say it's an investment, because you'll use that investment could turn into money down the road for you that you can use as leverage to say, and I know about that, Derrick, because when we sold our home, someone got an inspection, and you know what happened? Instead, in lieu of making the changes, we gave them money. Yeah. So that inspection report for them turned into cash. It turned into money off of the deal. So I kind of jumped in there. You got me a little bit excited about some of the stuff that you said, but you were giving us just a great analogy and a great kind of step by step of some of the things that you do for these home inspections.
Yeah, and again, I go back to my who, what, when, where. I think we had gotten to like when.
Sure, come on, you're good.
So Keisha, you're a realtor, so right away once you get under contract, immediately, in that due diligence period, whether it's 3, whether it's 7, whether it's 10 days, you want to go ahead and try to coordinate an inspection. And I urge, and generally, like realtors will offer you, hey, unless you know an inspector, I have 3 to 5 or several people that I work with before. I'll let you choose who works with you, and that's when I come in.
Yeah.
That's when I come in, and my process is so a few things keep me accountable in my process when it comes to doing a home inspection, and that's routines and redundancies.
Hmm.
All right. So what that means is at least everything, at least every room that I go into the house, I'm at least making 2 passes through there. So I walk you out through my process. So as I approach the customer's house or the buyer's house, if they're there at the time of inspection, if they're meeting me there, I generally greet them. I give them the high level overview. Uh, a lot of times I ask if there's any concerns because by now they've probably seen the property, they've probably done a walkthrough. They may have seen some things that may have been concerned, and I ask those questions because I want to know what's something that you saw or and a lot of times it's nothing that they saw in particular. If not, that's fine. I generally start in the kitchen because that's going to tell me I'm checking the utilities, make sure the power is on, make sure if there's gas, if that's on,
Yeah.
water heater. If all that's fine, I'm not. Um, I don't have to troubleshoot as much, but that's why I start on the front end. Uh, After that, I walk through every room, and this is just a light walk pass. I'm just going through, actually prepping the area. So I'm raising the windows, opening the closet, looking in the ceilings of the closet, areas where moisture or mold could be trapped. I'm like I said, walking through the room. If there's like I said, open the windows, just getting a visual observation of the ceiling, the drywall, uh, putting in perspective where everything is on the inside, so it'll make sense when I get on the outside. And I'll
Sure.
show you all what I'm talking about. So after I go through every room, I start on the roof, and the reason I go through every room is because, all right, if I see an attic access, if I see a few things. If I see a gas water heater, if I see the furnace in there, I'm looking for in my head what is queuing me up to tell me that I should see a vent going to the exterior, and it's generally through the roof.
Hmm.
So I'm accounting for that mentally on the inside. So when I get up on the roof, uh, I'm making sure it properly terminates to the exterior. When I go up on the roof, I'm looking for shingle damage. I'm looking for any deterioration. Uh, it's recommended that a roofing expert evaluate or give you a certificate on the roof if it's older than 10 years. I'm looking at the layering. I'm looking at uh, all of those penetrations, all of those areas that are vulnerable to leakage. So where you have anything, whether it's a chimney, whether it's a plumbing vent, I'm looking around that area to make sure there's a proper seal. All right. I come down, I'm looking, checking the grounds, the exterior. I'm walking around the house, looking for any signs of, and I up and down. I'm looking up and down from my process. I go from the roof to the fascia to
Yeah.
the sidewalls to the foundation. Roof, fascia, sidewall, foundation. That's kind of like, and every 2 feet. I try to keep it rhythm, roof, fascia,
Yeah. Yeah.
sidewall, foundation.
I hear
Go
that.
down to make it do the same thing on each side, all the way around. Uh, Obviously, your condensing unit is going to be out there, so I'm evaluating that, make sure it's level.
Mhm.
Uh, and then I come back in, and this is just a short, like abbreviated. I go back into the house. Uh, this is where I do a more invasive uh, inspection. So uh, I'm looking around these window seals. I'm taking my moisture meter because those are areas that are prone to moisture. So I'm checking around these window seals to make sure no moisture is there. I'm testing every receptacle within the house.
Yeah.
in the bedrooms, in the living room, dining room, all of these areas. Go in the kitchen, uh, go back in the kitchen. Making sure the appliances work. Uh, and then, like, again, this is short. And one of the things I found valuable as a last um, as a last as the last part of my inspection is to do a thermal image scan, because one of the
Huh.
things I've done in the house is put a load on the plumbing. What I
Okay.
mean by that, I filled up every tub, I filled up every sink,
Uh-huh.
uh, and because I can't pressurize your system to make sure your plumbing is functional, I can put a load on it, or a load beyond the physical demand that's usually on it, just to make sure it's functional. And then
Hmm.
I'll go around with my infrared gun to make sure there's active leaks. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, that's the summary of my process. Now,
Wow. You are thorough. I've got Derrick. I don't know if you know Katina Mays. She's a local realtor as well. We've been
hey,
long time friends. So Katina is saying that she was kind of witnessing you when you were saying, checking the plumbing bin. She was like, "Yes, look at those
yeah,
plumbing vents and everything." So thank you for Katina for sharing out and for tuning in this morning. And Samantha's also was saying to you, and I wanted to acknowledge her because she told you, she said, this is awesome information. And she shared it on her page as well. So again, that's Samantha Youngblood as well. So I want to say thank you. My friend Rico McAdory is looking, and he shared it as well. So y'all, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Okay, now you gave us the pricing a little bit earlier, but I'm one who says that we're not necessarily going to focus on the pricing per se, Derrick, because the way I see it, I see this as being an investment.
okay.
So for our viewers or whatever. So how do they contact you, and what is your process from a person buying a home when they
Mhm.
contact you? What does that look like from them contacting you to you actually being able to to perform the inspection? How does that work?
That's a good question. So immediately after I'm contacted, or my office someone is contacted, they will generally get you on a schedule or look at the schedule. The first thing is an agreement. All
Hmm.
right, because I want to make sure that we're on the same page as far as what to expect out of me as an inspector.
Hmm.
Make sure we at the correct address, and make sure the price that we agreed upon is the price that we agreed upon.
Hmm.
All right.
Hmm.
So that's my first point of contact when I talk with the buyer. I'll put an agreement in their email, um, after they or after I let them know the agreement. I'll just go ahead and schedule them for generally my earliest convenience,
Hmm.
because I know I know the market, and it can be, as far as you only have so much time for your due diligence. And if I find anything, you want to make sure that you get the proper specialists out there to cover it as part of your due diligence. So I I generally assign them to my earliest availability. Um, I will generally reach out the day of,
Hmm.
just reminding them, or letting them know, hey, Tony, looking forward to seeing you at 2:30 for our 2:30 inspection at said address.
Hmm.
So that's generally my process. A lot of times, like oftentimes, a few different ways. Either reach me at 205-607-8088.
Hmm.
Uh, that's a good number to reach me. Um, Also, you could go through my website. There's a contact form at the bottom of the home page where all the information is.
Okay.
And if you submit your information in there, myself or someone will be in touch with you shortly,
Okay.
just to follow up about the inspection. So yeah, at the bottom of this page right here is our contact information. You can submit that contact information that comes directly to us, and we're able to get in touch with you because it gives us all the information we need. The address. Uh, Again, my pricing is based on the square footage, and that's what I stick to. If there's a crawl space, that's fine. That's all included, and the price per square footage. So
There, you have his information there, ladies and gentlemen. You can reach out on his website. And again, for those of you, I appreciate you sharing out the video, because what's going to happen is people are going to look at this video throughout the day. And you've given us some really good information and just a reiteration. And it's one of those things, Derrick, where on a normal day, if I'm not purchasing a home, this may not be top of mind, or you hear it and you kind of go, oh, okay, yeah, that's great. But when you get into the process, it's one of those things that you'll say, and I hope to cause someone to say, okay, I really want this home, but instead of me making a rash decision, let me go ahead and just pull back a little bit, and let me go ahead and do the right thing here in the moment. It may not be it may not be the popular thing to say right now, because again, we've been in a seller's market and it's been crazy. People have been putting multiple offers on homes. Buyers have become weary, and buyers are doing everything they can to get a leg up in this market. I get it. I mean, I get it. I want you to know I understand that. And I understand too, there's a little bit of buyer fatigue going on. So you want to take the shortcut. You want to get the perfect home. Derrick, there's the gentleman who really prompted this when he came to the open house on Saturday. I could see the look in his eye, and he was really trying to be an aid, I think, in his mind to his wife, because he looked at his wife and he said, I just want to give her the home. I mean, he was looking at her. He said, I just want to give her the home that she wants. So these are not people who are, how can I say it? They're not young. They're not immature. It's just in that desire. And his heart was, I want my wife to be happy. I want her to have the home that she wants. And she really wants this home. In your opinion, he looked at me and he said, would you do it? Would you do this? And I said, if you allow me to be honest, I would not tell you to skip the home inspection. I just wouldn't tell you to do it. It's, I mean, and here's the encouragement that I want to give people too as well, Derrick. Sometimes we get in these processes and we almost get activated and spurred on because of the competition. All these people are bidding and, we're excited and we're in the moment. But here's my heart and my desire on it. I believe that if you apply patience to everything, the thing that I've learned in the real estate game is there will always be another house. You understand? We all get caught up. I've gotten caught up too. Me and my husband have gotten caught up too. There will be another house. Okay. It may not be just that house, but if you remain open, if you don't get the house, I oftentimes believe there are things that happen for a reason. So if you don't get this particular house, if you remain open, continue to look, hang in there, see something else that comes right on around the bend, but just trying to do this to try to help people save some money, but most importantly, Derrick, some heartache. So
no, that's wisdom, Kisa, and I appreciate you having me on, because a lot of time, and people of all ages, like a lot of times people don't think about a home inspector until they need a home inspector. It's not a I mean, it's a essential part of the real estate transaction, or the real estate transaction, because of the information that it can provide you. But a lot of times people don't think about it. And I understand firsthand. Like I said, I just bought a house, and I'm not exempt from the excitement that came with it. Even being an inspector, I was like, wait, we could,
we can skip
you want to be competitive.
Yeah.
But that's when you have a good realtor like Kisa to kind of wheel you back in and like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is the reason we're doing this. You don't want to pay. You mentioned the guy asked you about, is this okay? I want to make my wife happy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure your wife wouldn't be happy to get in that house that she wanted, have a $25,000 repair.
Year
one. So these are the reasons you want a home inspection. You want to have someone that's licensed, that's trained to go in and evaluate your property for your own awareness, and just so you can make an informed decision prior to purchasing your home.
Because we kind of talk in our real estate circles, that the buyer is going to love you, on that front end. But like you said, Derrick, that wife gets in the house and discovers those issues, that light can turn to something else, and it can change is what I'm saying. And I know that firsthand because I've had a couple of realtors, and one of the things that I believe that I didn't have and that I would change is just making sure that I make sure my client is informed, even if you don't like what I say on the front end, even if you don't agree. I don't want it to be stated, well, you didn't tell me, or you didn't give me a heads up on whatever. There's some things that we just don't know as people. We may have some limitations, but if I can help you at least be informed, or help you say, look, think about this, okay? I feel like at that point, then I've done what I'm supposed to do, because again, I didn't have certain things. And I feel like, when people are making an investment into a home, it is the largest purchase of their lives. So little things, I mean, we go back and we think about it. We think about what they didn't do, what they didn't say, or why didn't they even show me another community? Why did they show me just this community? I mean, we think about it. Buyers think about it. So I want to make sure to cover all of our bases. And I believe that you've done it. And you've got some realtors on here who are listening to you as well. Another one of my realtor friends is LaShawn Grayson. She's out of Keller Williams, and she's saying great info and all of that kind of stuff. And I will tell you, her and her husband, he's the DJ of real estate. He's also out of Keller Williams too, but you may hear that name coming up in circles. So y'all, I have his information at the bottom of the screen. I have the number, and I also have his website. So as we've talked about, it's one of those things you hear now, and it may not be as important to you, but later on, trust me, you'll want to have a home inspector in your back pocket. If it's not right now, it's coming around the bend. Mark Kiesel's words on that. You'll want to have someone. And Derrick is now in my back pocket, so he's going to be one of those folks that I keep and I recommend out to some of my home buyers as they are looking to purchase their home. So we're about 37 minutes. We're about 7 minutes over. We're at 37 minutes now. I told you about a half hour. So I appreciate you so very much. I know you're busy. I know you're getting ready to go out now. I see your shirt on. You're getting ready to go and do some inspecting.
That's right. That's right. And thank you again, Keisha. For everyone watching, if you all, just for more tips and I try to post pretty frequently about the home inspection, some of my findings.
Yeah.
I go by Derrick Gooden on Facebook and Inspector Derrick on Instagram, and those are generally my mediums where I post information about the home inspection process. I often tell my clients, get you a good inspection, get you a good inspection. That's my tagline.
Get you a good inspection.
Get you a good inspection. So yeah, again, my website, Keisha's my website, and my information, my contact information, 205-607-8088.
There you go. There's a contact sheet that's on the website, and I don't know if you're able to see my little icon moving there, but toward the very bottom here on the left-hand side, 205-607-8088, and it's also running across the bottom of the screen. Get you a Gooden inspection. Derrick, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Keith.
You're so welcome. Have a super fantastic Saturday, okay? And thank you for tuning in as well. All right, Derrick. Okay, goodbye, Derrick. All right, get you a Gooden inspection this morning. I always appreciate the people who join us this morning. And for those of you who are on and who shared out the broadcast, I really appreciate it. And look, I'm going to just give you some closing words and say to you, again, it may not be something that you consider top of mind right now, but if you are in the market, what can you do to fast forward this message? If you're in the market, if you will be in the next couple of months, if you have friends or family, okay, who are going to be in the market and who need a good inspector, y'all, I know sometimes we're always thinking about cutting corners. And we're always thinking about not investing or saving money on the front end. But when you talk about purchasing your home, the largest investment that many of us will purchase, you don't want to cut corners. You want to make sure that you're a well-informed buyer. That, as a real estate agent, is my mission. That is my contribution. As a coach, I am a life coach, okay? It's what I do, giving you tips and helping make sure that you can, coaching you through making right decisions. It's what I do. My life coach is my calling. And I'm going to apply that very same passion to helping you all in real estate. Because when I purchased both of my homes, I was in a position where I didn't have the information that I needed. I didn't have the information I needed on some things. There were things that I lacked. There were steps that were missed. There were things I wasn't shown. So I'm not saying, I mean, we're all human, so we don't get it all right. But part of the thing that I do have a passion to do, and that is to educate you and to show you the importance of getting information. And if I don't know it, the beautiful thing that God has done for me in my life is he's connected me with people. So if I don't know it, I'm going to get you the answer. If I don't have the answer, I'm connected to people who can get you the answer. Okay. That's my passion, to help educate you along the process. Because once you're educated, you're going to feel more confident in your decision. And once you're confident in your decision, that's going to produce a peace about the decision that you make. An informed home buyer is a happy home buyer, and we want you happy with the largest investment of your life. Samantha has something that I'm going to share, and we're going to wrap up today. Thank you for this information. Years ago, my inspector was a fake. My house needed a lot of work when he told me it didn't. I will get in touch with Derrick Gooden with my next home buying process. Oh, wow. Samantha, thank you so much. And isn't that just the worst? And Samantha, I think that if others were really honest, a number of us may have been burned in this process, a number of us. So there is no embarrassment. There is no shame. One of my stories is when I purchased my first home more than 20 years ago. I had the inspection done and all of that. But one of the things that I was concerned about is the simple fact that the agent really didn't show me a large scope of homes. She was familiar with one particular area, and that's the area that she took me to. And y'all, I stayed in that house for almost 20 years. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I love that home. God blessed me in that home. But sometimes I find with realtors that, listen, there is a responsibility that we have. And God blessed me to be able to become a licensed real estate agent. I don't take that lightly. I don't take it lightly. I take it as a responsibility. And my responsibility is to make sure that I take care of my clients from a perspective of educating them, from a perspective of giving them the best service as I possibly can in serving them and giving them the best information. Why? Because I remember at each step of my home buying process that people didn't, in some instances, give me the information, and I couldn't recommend them out. So my job and my heart is to do the best job that I can so that you will feel confident in your process and making your decision. That's what makes me happy. That's what blesses me, to make sure that you have the information that you need to make the decision that's best for you. Even if you decide, I told this gentleman, if it were me, there's no way that I would purchase a home without buying an inspection or investing in an inspection. There's no way that I would do that. However, I shared that with him. Now, sorry, y'all, my nose is running a little bit. Sorry about that. But once I share that information with him, what decision he makes, I respect. But Kisa wants to be in a position to give you the information to make the best decision. So he knows now, okay, well, at least if I don't, she told me. And guess what, y'all? I wasn't his real estate agent. He came to the open house last week and he told me that he had a real estate agent, but he asked my honest opinion. And I gave him my honest opinion, knowing that wasn't necessarily anything that I would get credit for down the line. But if it's information that I can give you, I'm going to tell you the truth, because I don't want you to look up and be angry and have to look around. Because one thing about a house that I know is when you get in that house, and Delmas, thank you, brother. He said great information. Thank you, brother. My heart is to help. My heart is to help. I'm asking people to share out the video because it may not be one of the things that you need right now. But trust me, if you are considering a home, if your parents, your brother or sister, your aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, friends are considering home buying, trust me, it's one of the things that we take for granted. But the home inspection, it can save you so much. a secondary thing. We had an inspection. Again, I have a love, me and my husband really have a love for older houses and taking older houses and fixing them up and designing and painting and all of that kind of stuff. That's just what we love to do. But we were about to purchase an older home. This home was almost 100 years old. It was built in the 1920s. Absolutely gorgeous home. But we had an inspection. And the inspector took it one step farther. He said, I would even go a step farther. And he said, I would bring over a foundation specialist, because right about that time frame, 100 years old, these houses, from what this guy told me, these houses can start to have issues, with foundation problems or whatever. It was a 3-story home. It had a full basement. It was an unfinished basement. So it had a full basement, a main level, and then an upper level. So we brought over someone from a foundation specialist company, and they told us politely, okay, before we purchased the home. Now we signed the contract, and we got a contingency on the contract. This is how it works. We wanted the home, so we put our earnest money down. Okay, that's what you do. But because Alabama is a caveat emptor state, what does that mean? That means buyer beware. That means when you purchase a home, Alabama places the responsibility on you as a home buyer, on me as a home buyer, not on anybody else. So what you do is when you talk to your real estate agent and say, I'm going to get an inspection. So yes, we're going to go ahead and sign this contract, but we're going to build a contingency in that says, we need to have, in 3 days, we have 5 days, we have 7 days, contingent upon the inspection, making sure that everything is acceptable via this inspection, or these are some things that we know about and we can work on. Yes, we'll go ahead with the contract. But based on our inspection with this nearly 100-year-old home, we decided, because we got foundation specialists out who told us we'd have to spend almost $30,000 to bring this home up to speed, we decided against that. Because even though it appeared to be a great price on the front end, we knew that we would have to invest some other things, and the house was uneven, and you all think this is not real. I had a friend at that time, and I think some things are just wisdom. I think some things are just God. But I had a friend at that time who told me that he said, if you have a house that's that old and you're considering purchasing it, he said, get the inspection. He said, get a foundation specialist out there. He said, because here's my story. We were warned about the house that we purchased. And he said, I didn't take it seriously that we needed to get the foundation looked at and shored up. So me and my wife were asleep one morning. It had been raining for several days. And I think did the house collide? The basement collided. And it was, he said, when he looked down in his basement, it was just like water, just streams of water running into his house. True story. We were about to purchase this home, which had some foundation issues. He told us, take it seriously. Basically, our home collapsed. He said, our home collapsed. He said, and I'm not telling you who this guy is, but he said, he said, we left the house. It ruined our credit. He said, but we walked out, we were safe, and we just decided we would start over because we didn't have the money to build up that house again. We left it with the bank. I'm not advising that. That's not what I would advise. Okay. That's not what Keisha would do, but it was such a traumatic experience. So what I'm saying to you is when we talk about getting the foundation check, when we talk about getting an inspection, and I felt like so finish my thought. When we talk about having these things done, it's to save you heartache in the long run. It's to save you money in the long run. True story. True story. Foundation specialists told us that you're going to need to get some things repaired in here, because if not, you're going to have some problems. And by the way, the price tag for this older home cost you about $30,000, if not more, because there were some other renovations that we needed to make. And then about that time, I had a good buddy of mine. He called, and we just happened to be having a conversation when we were in the negotiations process with this home and in our contingency phase. He said, take it seriously. He said, me and my wife had our lives uprooted because we had a problem with our home colliding. And I'm not explaining everything because I can't remember all of the details, but basically, if the home has a foundation issue, what you don't want is you don't want any collapse of that home. He said he woke up and there was like a river. It had been raining several days. He said there was like a river in his basement. There was nothing he could do to repair that house. But it and there's a process too that's called waterproofing. I need to get someone on here talking about that as well, that you have to do with these older homes. But basically, again, the home was old. It needed foundation work. He and his wife didn't take it seriously. So that's the price they paid in the end. Okay? It can save you money. It can save you heartache. We thank God. Oh, thank you so much, Samantha. I really appreciate that. Listen, I want to save you all. I've been there. And like I said, there are some great real estate agents out there. Great. There are some good real estate agents out there. What's my qualification or what's my litmus test for what I consider a great real estate agent? Someone who knows the business, someone who shares information with you and protects you as the home buyer and the home seller. That's what I consider great real estate agents, okay? Those who take their fiduciary responsibility towards you seriously. And that's what I do. And I'm giving you out some free information, but I understand. I believe that you put it out there, it comes back in one form or another. So y'all, it is almost 9 o'clock. It's the holiday weekend. Special shout out again. I still have his information running on there to Mr. Derrick Gooden. Y'all, he gave some good information. He just gave some good information. He talked about his process. I love the fact that he is so thorough. He knows his process. He does it, and I thought, he's going to be one of the people I strongly consider the next time I need to get an inspection because he's just very thorough. And I like that. And he puts information in your hands so you can make the best decision. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Keisha Sharp Jefferson, Keller Williams Vestavia Realtor. I hope that you all have an amazing day, also known as Coach K. And remember, as part of this home buying process, I don't want any of you to get discouraged. I know it's been a little bit wild, but the market is calming down and coming back around. So just keep your wits about you. If you haven't found you've been looking, haven't found that home yet, be encouraged. Be encouraged. Things are settling down. And there's another home out there for you, okay? Or, you may be able to get your dream home. Just be encouraged and make sure that you make a wise decision in this process. I'll see y'all later, okay? Have a terrific Saturday and a terrific holiday weekend. Mwah. I'll talk to you a little bit later. Bye-bye.